Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for coming back. Thank you guys for those who have subscribed, liked, commented on my videos. I really appreciate the love and really appreciate the support. It means a lot. So today I wanted to make a short video in honor of National Coming Out Day and kind of share you guys a little bit of my story of coming out, how it was for me, and hopefully it can inspire some of you guys out there who are having a troubled time, or if you know somebody who is. And I tell you, I encourage you to check in with those family members and check in with those friends that you think might be might be struggling with that. With no further ado, let's get into it. So once again, I have prepared some questions just to kind of guide the conversation. I ramble a lot. If I don't write down questions, I just start rambling, talking. So if you have any follow-up questions, or if something I didn't cover and you're interested and you want to know about it, drop some questions in the comments, right? And I'll answer you back. All right, so let's get going. First of all, question number one. When did I realize I was gay? Now that is a crazy question. So I could tell you that I guess on some level, I always kind of knew, except that when you're a kid, you don't really know that that's what it is. I know for me, I just knew that I was different. Definitely a tomboy, definitely boyish. I love sports. I didn't like to wear, tight girly clothes, but as far as anything other than that, I really didn't know what it was about me that was different. But I knew it was different. And then growing up, I can remember being 8, 9 years old and wanting to be handsome, and wanting to get the attention of pretty girls that walk by me, but again, being 9 years old at that time, I didn't really understand what was happening or what it meant or anything like that. I just was like, oh, that's a little different. I can remember going to a dance at St. Matthias, and just being super uncomfortable because everybody caught on to it a lot faster than I caught into it. I'll tell you that. I was really in denial, and I was scared. I was not ready for that truth yet at the time. And I'm talking when I was 15, 14, 15, 16 years old. At that time, I still wasn't ready for that truth. I was just like, oh no. And to be honest, my first experience or interaction with like actual lesbians was in high school, when I joined the basketball team, of course, which a lot of us can say that our experience was either in our sports family or our friends, right? And by experience or exposure, you're just like, you meet people who are open. Like I remember meeting, and I'm not gonna say her name because I have her as a friend on Instagram and Facebook. But if she can remember this story, or if she can remember, the situation, I was a freshman. I was on the basketball team as a freshman year. I was on the JV team. So the senior class. So those of you guys that were in senior class in the year 2000. And in the year 2001, you guys were juniors and seniors. You guys were the gays. And you guys were the ones that introduced us babies. Not necessarily introduced, but like made it real and made it tangible. And I remember looking at her like, man, I want to be just like her. I want to have that swag. I want to have that confidence. I want to have that ability to just be truthful and be, to live, I guess, the life that I wanted to live in that time. It was like a dream, I didn't know if I could do it. You don't know how your family's going to react. You don't know how your friends are your friends. I've always been very blessed to have friends that they were gay with me. We were figuring this out together. So as far as them, it was all good. And then my other friends, they, like I said, everyone just kind of was like, yeah, it wasn't necessarily a surprise to them. So I've always been blessed to have friends that accept me for who I am and stuff, always. And but family, you're just kind of scared, and you don't know what and how you live life and all of that. So that's I'll say I realized that I was gay probably when I was 8 or 9, but I didn't know that it was being gay. And I finally embraced that truth. Senior year in high school, to be completely honest with you. And probably not even senior year. I think senior year I just kind of like allowed myself to enjoy having a crush on a girl, and I had like a girlfriend, but we like kissed one time and mostly just held hands and passed each other letters and passed each other like notes in homeroom, but we really didn't do much. Like I really was such a late bloomer when it comes to being open and being out. So I would say freshman year in Rio Hondo. So I was 18 when I got in Rio, 18 in the summer of 2004. No, I was 17, and then I turned 18. Yeah, I was graduated in June, right before my birthday, and then my birthday was in August, and then started summer. So yeah, sounds about right. Yep. So next question. Um, like I said, what was the feeling like? Again, scary, um, exciting, butterflies in the stomach, to be able to like know someone who felt the way I did, but had the confidence and straight out the balls to live life the way they wanted to live life, and I just didn't know if I ever was gonna have that confidence. I remember, very clearly being probably like 15. I was on the basketball team, and when you're on the basketball team, you have a little bit of swag. When you're an athlete, you have a little bit of swag in high school. Whether you're a nerd, whether you're cool or not, you have a little bit of swag because as an athlete, you do have that credibility a little bit already. So, but anyways, I remember being in HP with my mom, and we were walking up and down Pacific, looking at the shoes. No, that was after first time I met this chick. It was after basketball practice. We were at Jack in the Box. Anybody who was anybody always went to Jack in the Box after high school, right? After class. We always did that after practice, after school, everything. We went to Jack's. So, I'm pretty sure the twins were there. I was there. I think Christy might have been there. I'm not too sure. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's you guys are the home. You guys know what's up. So yeah, and I was there, and at this time I was dressing like tomboyish. Not like a stud. Like my mom was not letting me dress like a boy, so it was not happening. But not like a girl. Somewhere in the middle. So this girl, this pretty girl, I remember she was very pretty. Comes up to me, blonde, fake blonde though, not real blonde. Latina that dyes her, yeah, like that, but not real blonde. So she comes up to me and she asks me. She says, "Hey, you are like super cute." And this is the first time that a girl's ever like said that, and so I was just like, "What?" And in public, so I was just like, you know. And I said, "Thanks." I remember being awkward and saying thanks. And she goes, "Are you a stud?" Didn't even know what a stud was at the time. Didn't even know what a stud was. And I said, "No." I didn't know what it was, but I didn't want to claim it. I was like, "No." And she goes, "No?" And I was like, "No." And she goes, "Oh, so you're not gay?" And I go, "No." And I said it just like hesitantless like that, all slow, like, "No." And she was just like, "Okay." And she walked away. And shout out to that girl who like recognized that I was like not ready for that conversation or whatever, or for that. But yeah, that was the first time a girl ever picked up on me. That was the first time that I ever was like confronted with the question, like, "Are you gay?" And I was like, "No, no, no, no." And then fast forward like probably like 2 weeks after that, me and my mom are in HP up and down Pacific, and this chick ends up working at the store that we're like doing window shopping. We're looking at the shoes, and she's right there, and I can remember my heart was just like, and I was like, "Is she gonna say something? Like, she gonna come try to talk to me right here in front of my mom? My mom's gonna be like, yes, I, yes, I," because my mom wasn't dumb. She was already kind of like understanding, I guess, and realizing in her own way that, oh snap, my daughter is in her mind she thought I was turning into a boy, which is a totally different, I think, podcast. But in my mom's eyes, me starting, I guess, be open and be, I guess, transparent with my sexuality or whatever, was me trying to be a boy. And to be fair, when I was a little kid, yes, I did want to be a boy. But that's because I was a little kid and I wanted to be like my brothers. I wanted to like be standing up. I wanted to like be a boy. That, don't ask me. It was just a childhood thing, thankfully, and no disrespect to anybody that does feel like this or anybody that has gone through this. I'm gonna say a disclaimer like that, right? But I grew out of it. It's not something that like followed me, and it's not something that I feel nowadays. But yeah, that was a thing back in the day. So sorry about that. But yeah, so yeah, that's how that goes. So I rejected a pretty girl's advances because I was not ready. Like, that's how crazy that was. All right, so next question. Who did I tell? And what was that experience like? Oh, man. Again, I can remember this like it was yesterday. Shout out to my cousin Milaritos at Mila Nunez, at Moonlight Candles, at Moonlight Child. And I told her. She was my one of my closest cousins. It was me, her, and Bridget always. But I was always wanting to be with Milaritos because Bridget lived in Vegas and Bridget always lived far away. So, growing up, I was like Milaritos' shadow. I follow her everywhere. And I remember that she was 16. So I had to be, we are, I think like 4 years apart. So she had to be older because I remember I was probably like 14, 15. I don't really remember the age when I came out to her, but I know that I was in my young teens. And yeah, I told her like, I remember we were sitting in front of my nana's house, at my house, and we were sitting on the curb, and I remember telling her like, "Oh, Milaitos, I have to tell you something," and she looks at me all weird, and she's like, "What?" And I'm like, I was super worried, fidgeting, all panicky, like, what is she gonna say or whatever, and she goes, and I tell her, I'm gay. And she straight up looks at me and goes, so? And I just was like, what do you mean so? And she goes, yeah. She goes, I already knew you were gay. And I was like, what? What do you mean you knew I was gay? Like, for me, this was like a huge revelation. Like, I'm over here pouring my soul out, my heart out to you, telling you about my, homosexual feelings over here. And you're going to tell me you already knew? And she goes, yeah. And she goes, and by the way, everybody already knows. And I'm like, what? What do you mean everybody already knows? She goes, yeah. She goes, everybody already knows, Amelia. She goes, I mean, look at the way you dress. Look at the way you act. I mean, and you've always kind of acted like that ever since you were little. So, yeah, it's not really a surprise to anybody. But I'm glad that you figured it out. And man, that was such a relief to me. Like, it was such a relief to be accepted that easily and for it to not shift anything real big in the family. And it didn't. Like, yeah, my mom, like I said, didn't really understand the concept of I mean, she knew what it was. She would call it other things that I'm not going to repeat on the show, but my mom was an old school Cuban lady with no filter, man. She said some pretty crazy stuff. She would ask me and my girlfriends, how we had, sex and do we do this and do we do that? And I'm like, Mom, and I wasn't even that comfortable with that, So I would get super embarrassed and I'd be like, Mom, really? Like, that's crazy. But I'm going to tell you, my mom was a real one because even though she might not have understood or accepted or I don't know. She never was disrespectful to any of my girls. She always was nice to them as long as they were nice and respectful and sweet. And then they were welcome in the house. And she was very motherly to them, very nice, very sweet to them. And, she was able to like separate whatever she didn't understand about it with the fact that she loved me and she wanted me to be happy and she saw me be happy. And she saw these girls, care about me and love me and vice versa. And whether or not she understood exactly how the dynamic worked, sexually or otherwise, she definitely was supportive in her own way. And now that doesn't mean she didn't ask, like I said, rude, disrespectful questions and maybe go out of line. She did that, but she also loved, supported, cared, and was 100% supportive, and always allowed them to come over and hang out. And she even let one of them live with us. I think, yeah, for sure one of them. I don't know. I don't think my other one at that time lived with us, but for sure one of them lived with us because I remember when that one was having a day, and I'll just leave it at that. My mom called me talking about your girlfriend is crazy. You need to come over here and talk to her because she's acting out of line. So, but yeah, my mom was um, seamless in her support, and I will always appreciate that. My mom, rest in peace, passed away in 2015 from a cruel disease called Alzheimer's. So, please support Alzheimer's research, Alzheimer's walks, anything that has to do with Alzheimer's, please support it. But it's a terrible disease. If you know anybody that's has it, anybody that has been diagnosed, please, please, please be a part of their support system. As scary as it might be, as sad as it might be for you, it's the least that you can do for a loved one who's going through it. That was the toughest thing that I ever had to go through in my young adult life, was witnessing my mom, who was so full of life and so full of joy, and have it robbed by Alzheimer's. Slowly, but surely. So, that was who I told. I told my cousin Mileritos in the front of the house on the curb. We were sitting there. I started burying my soul, and she's like, yeah, we know. We know, and we got you, and we love you either way. So, are you ready to go inside the house? Yep. All right, cool. And yeah, my mom didn't even trip. My brothers, like I said, they didn't trip. They didn't really trip about me being gay. They were just like, okay, what kind of people are you bringing over to the house? What kind of girlfriends do you have over the house? I remember, you know, I remember when my first girlfriend and I were going to the corner store, and we thought we were slick. We didn't hold hands. We didn't do any of that. And so we thought, yeah, well, no one's going to know that, we're like dating. Because I know I said I didn't come out until college, and she was my girlfriend after I graduated high school. Like, it wasn't in high school when I had a girl. Like, I graduated high school with only having one girlfriend, which no one knew about except for my basketball buddies. We were not out like that. And I definitely was not out like that. And like, nothing went down, like no hunky dory, no nothing, like we kissed once, like I said, in like the 4 months that we dated, which is like forever when you're like 15 years old. But other than that, after that, believe it or not, I was that before. Yeah, so I was already dang, I gotta get my timeline straight, because I definitely had a boyfriend in high school, but that was before the girlfriend. So I dated him when I was like 17. So 16, 17. So, no, 15, 16, because he came to my quinceañera. So it was 15, 16. That's when him and I were going out. And then I graduated high school when I was 17. And that's when that year, my senior year, my junior year is when I met the girl that I had a massive crush on, that we dated forever and didn't do anything. And then senior year, at a tea party, which we started going to because we were all kind of feeling the same way. Like, we think we're gay, or they thought they were bi, whatever. We like girls. Let's go be with other girls that like girls. So we went to tea parties. That's where I met the girl that would be my girlfriend in college. And so, yeah, none of that happened in high school. I was way too shy, way too insecure, way too naive, and not ready. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with being a late bloomer. Um, like I said, how did my mom react to girls coming over? Um, let me tell you, she didn't let us close the door or anything like that. She was like, door better stay open, kind of deal. And that was with everybody and anybody. My mom was not having it. You were not closing the door. And that was even when you were by yourself. No. So even when you're by yourself, you're not closing the door. Because she was like, you don't get no privacy in this house. It's my house. I pay all the bills. You don't get no privacy. So, but yeah, other than that, she was cool. She was cool. She let us go out. She let us party. My curfew was like 12 o'clock. But I pushed it when I was 18, 19. I pushed it living with her. Because she was like a little lenient, She would yell a little bit, but she was a little lenient. I think she was trying to give me my space a little bit. Um, I didn't take too much advantage of that, but a little bit, a little bit. I remember telling her there was traffic at 1 in the morning, and I don't know if she ever bought that crap, but she did not kick my butt too bad when I got home. She was just like, but she did stay in the living room, sitting on that recliner until I got home. And she was a light sleeper, so as soon as the door opened, she was like, I can see it now. She was like, carajo, Amelia, que estás still? Like, let's go. That's what she didn't like, that she couldn't go to sleep because she was waiting for me. So, but I do remember her waiting for me all the time. All right, let's see. When did I start becoming, last question, when did I start becoming comfortable in my sexuality? I would have to tell you in my early 20s. Even though I came out when I was, 18, as far as publicly came out and had a girlfriend, and holding hands and taking pictures of the girl and actually like declaring that I was a lesbian. It was about that time when I started feeling comfortable, and a lot of it had to do with the girl that I was with and how she felt and how comfortable she was with her sexuality. It kind of forced me to like go with it and learn with it and grow with it. But I'd have to say it at that time, 18, 19, 20 was when I really started like coming into my own, starting to like know what kind of girls I liked, knowing what kind of girls I was attracted to, and opening myself up to that kind of experience. Definitely a lot more tea parties. At that time, lesbian clubs were like popping. They were coming out at that time, 2006, 2007, 2008. And, it was a good environment for us to be able to be ourselves and figure out what it is that we were doing and who it is that we were becoming. And it was a safe space. And that's something that, I wish that kids had nowadays. It was a safe space for us to like be gay and be cool and not worry about being hated on, discriminated against, violated, or anything like that. I mean, no more normal than a normal house party or a normal situation that a straight person would have, going to a house party in LA with no furniture, a freaking straight up crack house that we that we were at. But at the end of the day, we had a good time. We always went in a group and we were always safe. But yeah, it took me a while. And I remember specifically, this girlfriend liked PDA. And I was like, oh man, like there's a kid right there. And she would say, so? And I would say, don't you think it's a little weird to be kissing in front of a kid? And she would say, no. If the kid don't want to look, he don't have to look. I go, first of all, a kid is going to look because they nosy. And number two, I don't even think straight people should do it. So just like navigating through those feelings and navigating through the feelings of what I was reacting to because I was gay and what I was reacting to because I was new in a like adult, like physical relationship, Before the age of 19, I was never in a physical relationship. No, 18. It didn't take a year. 18, when I met my first girl. But before then, nope. So I can't talk to you about, I can talk to you about kissing and making out with people in like the back of buildings and stuff like that. But as far as like, people who say, oh yeah, I've been like sleeping with girls or boys or whatever since I was in high school or since I was in middle school, I can't relate to that. You know what I mean? It took me a long time to be comfortable with it. It took me a long time to accept it for myself and then be okay with it and be okay with speaking about it out loud. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't change that journey for the world. I wouldn't change, how I was able to educate like my mom and educate my family about gays and about, who they are as people, and the fact that, someone's gay doesn't change who they are to you. And I think that just living an honest and living a good life and living a present life with my family, that's how I can be that example. And that's how you can be that example, whether you're someone who is gay or you're somebody that's supporting someone who's gay and who has a gay person in their family. At the end of the day, that's just part of who we are. That's not all of who we are. That's definitely not the sum of who we are. Just like anything else, just like anybody else. So if you know someone who is gay and who is not out yet, be supportive. Don't be a dick. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl that says, "Oh, you think you should come out, or think it's your job to push them out of the closet." It's not, because you don't know what that person has had to overcome to even get to that mental space themselves. So, because I've had that experience. I have that experience now where I am like 99% that this person is gay, but they are not on that page and they are not there yet. And who knows when they're going to get there. But my job as a supporter and as an ally, right, and as a member of the community is to support them in any way that I can, and be loving and be accepting and be genuine and care about their mental health, and be present for them, regardless of where they're at when it comes to recognizing their sexuality. Because at the end of the day, that's only one part of who they are, and you should love and respect all the other parts of who they are as well. So, again, that's all I got for you guys. Please, if you have any questions, comments, drop them in the comments. Thank you guys so much for coming back. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this video to all your friends. The more the merrier. I really appreciate the support, guys. And I really appreciate you guys coming back. So please drop your